So you grew up in this town?
Yeah, from about 6th grade to graduation.
And this is the main drag.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is where people come. Is this a popular hangout Friday, Saturday night?
Well, behind you there used to be a nightclub. You got the VFW, the Sunday, the Fish Bar, Busy Bee down on your left. So yeah, there's these bars around here. When they have the all-school reunion, they'll set it up in here, and they shut down the streets down on 3rd up to 5th there, and people walk around here and eat and drink and meet up with all your buddies and stuff from years past. But yeah, this is it. It's just another dying Rust Belt town.
So you're going to take us to a couple locations where not so nice things have happened.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get the show on the road here. This used to be the Potter's Bank and Trust Company, but before that, this was the White Acre house site.
Yep.
And a couple presidents came here to speak, James A. Garfield, Abraham Lincoln. But there was also, this is also the site where a pretty well-known historical figure, what was his name?
John Morgan from Morgan's Raiders.
Yeah, so if nobody knows that story, he was a Confederate States of America, was he a general or something?
Yeah, he had like a guerrilla team of soldiers, and they made it the furthest north that the southern states army made it in the Civil War. It was about 10 miles north of here.
Yeah, until the Union Army got him, and so they held him at this site. What did they end up doing to him?
They sent him to prison, and then he escaped from there, and I think he got killed not long after he escaped from prison.
Maybe I'll do a fascinating graveyard video about him. Okay, all right, let's proceed to the next location. If you see that blue house in front of you right there, a murder occurred there on July 1st of 2007. So a husband and wife lived there named Jack and Tanya Amado, and the husband, Jack, shot and killed his wife, Tanya, and eventually he figures out that he needs to call the police. The police come, and he says, oh yeah, hey, we got into a quarrel or a fight, and then she shot at me with a little 22 caliber rifle or a pistol, something like that, and so I pulled out my 45 and I blew her brains out. So the homicide investigators here, they did their investigation, and they never found any kind of a weapon that supposedly Tanya had, and they eventually they ended up charging him with her murder. But I guess he has either a good lawyer or he knows somebody, but he ended up only doing about 6 years in prison for his wife's murder. And I don't know where this man is today, but he could be somewhere in this neighborhood. He could be not very far from here. But if you got a neighbor with a bad temper and his name is Jack, do your best, do your due diligence on not angering this guy. This is not a guy you want to be living next to. That is for sure. If you're looking for an inexpensive place to live, Wellsville might be a good option for you. So this house right here is for sale. It's a 3-bedroom, probably a 1-bath, right?
Yeah.
The asking price is $49,900. I looked inside. It is in desperate need of someone to come in and update it. But the asking price is $49,000. But you said that's ridiculous, huh?
Yeah, I would say you could probably get this for $20,000 all day long, and the Christmas lights are free. It's complimentary.
Yeah, if it does not come with the Christmas lights, I am not interested.
Yeah, no deal.
Yeah, so you better leave those lights right where they like. So come on down, guys. If you give them some cash, this house could be yours. And it's actually not a bad looking house. It just needs to be updated on the inside. The roof is probably good. It just needs some paint. The color's kind of ugly, but yeah, come on down. It's not a bad looking house at all, to tell you the truth. This house right here has a very odd thing about it. And you were telling me, what did your friend say about this house?
The story goes that a young girl killed herself in this house, and she was buried in the basement. And The grave is there complete with a headstone in the basement of that house.
But nobody in town has ever seen it?
People have seen it, yes, but it's, you know, it's not something they give you tours for. But a friend of mine that's seen it told me that it exists. It's in there.
Wow. And the house is still occupied?
Yeah.
It just looks a little abandoned. Okay. So why did you bring me here to these train tracks?
One day I was walking home from school and I saw a crowd of people over here. There was probably 100 people standing here. And
Where were they standing at?
all around here.
Okay, so you had about 100 people standing here. So if there's 100 people standing somewhere in Wellsville, something's going on.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was a heck of a crowd. And of course you had a couple police cars here and lights were on, and there was a couple cops on the roof of this building even.
They were just standing there.
Yeah, well, they were trained on him. They had their guns and they were trained on him. This guy was down here with a gun to his head, and you had no idea what was going on at the time, but here the guy was wanted for molesting a young girl, and they came to arrest him. He took off running, and he was down here with a gun to his head, threatening to commit suicide. And you're standing there and you're watching all this go on, you know, and throng of people. Then all of a sudden you hear a shot, and boom, he shot himself in the head, and he went down. And
Now you were telling me that when he was on the track, he had his pistol to his head,
yeah,
and he was standing. You said he remembered he was about right here,
yep,
and but he didn't exactly pull the trigger. You said like so his foot was kind of like on here, and he kind of slipped, like his foot slipped off the rail, and because of the gun being a hair trigger.
Later on, I talked to one of the cops, and they said that that gun had a hair trigger because they even shot it a few times just to see, and it had a real light trigger on it. And I'd seen the video because they were filming video that day too, and his foot slipped off of the train track, and the shock of it when it hit the ground, that hair trigger, he accidentally shot himself. But yeah, he killed himself.
Well,
right
I'm
here.
pretty sure Wellsville is not missing anything by this scumbag being gone.
Yeah, that's safe to say.
He did society a favor with that one, so the taxpayers don't have to pay for this scumbag to be on this planet. When we were driving down the street, I immediately noticed this. Now, you didn't really know what that was, huh?
No, I had no idea.
Okay, so that's Gangster Disciples for life. But do you know of this place that have a gang problem?
No, just bored
Kids. And then you got more stupidity over here. So, yeah, something tells me there's really no Gangster Disciples here. It's just probably some kids bored here on a Friday night. Oh, jeez. All right. What cemetery?
Spring Hill Cemetery.
Okay, we're at Spring Hill Cemetery, and Mothman is showing me this kind of abandoned crypt in this cemetery. It's a very unusual place to have a crypt in a cemetery. So why is it here?
Well, back in the day, the entrance to the cemetery was different, and it had to come up in front of you. So, it's a Dr. Silver. He was a dentist from back in the day. He had this built here because it would, be right on the drive-in. You'd see the beautiful crypt. Well, they closed that road down, and nobody else had ever built anything back here. So it sits here off by itself.
So it's him and maybe his wife.
Yeah, and there was an infant. I'm not 100% sure whether it was his or like a grandkid or not.
Uh-huh.
But it being down here by itself let vandals through the years that come in and broke into it, and they stole like bones of the infant at some point. Because you can check out some other places and you'll see it with the doors open. Luckily somebody's came up and closed it up.
Jeez. So I don't have my flashlight with me. And here we are, always at the scene of the crime. We're in Wellsville, Ohio, right on the border with West Virginia. This is Wells Hollow Road. I'm with my buddy Mothman, and that house up top and hidden behind the tree line, that is where the murder of Craig Roberts occurred.
Yes, sir.
And you were telling me he was a good friend of yours.
Yeah, he was a buddy of mine. He had a local tow service and scrap yard, and used to deal with him all the time. He was a good buddy of mine. And he was found shot dead in his bed in 2002 with 5 family members home, and nobody heard a thing.
He was shot twice with a .357 Magnum in a house full of 5 people, and a gun could be quite loud, and nobody heard nothing. Everybody slept right through 2 bangs.
Yes. And I had a buddy that was on the police department when they were investigating that, and they had an officer stand on this bridge here to your side, and they fired a similar gun to what killed Craig, and he heard it well from down here on this bridge with all the traffic and everything going by, but the people in the house, they heard nothing.
Absolutely nothing, huh?
Nope. That's your story, and they're sticking to it.
And his murder remains unsolved to this day. Now, you were also telling me, I'm going to try to zoom in on it. There's a sign that you really can't see what it says, but there's a story behind that sign.
Yeah, it's in memory of Gumby and Cherokee. There were a couple local bikers, and they were friends of a friend, and somebody ran them off the road, off of this exit ramp here behind us, and there was a fence underneath all that kudzu.
Yeah.
And they were dead. They were running so hard, they ran, I think, through a guardrail in the fence that were there, and they laid there dead, I think, for a week. And it's an unsolved murder, too.
So somebody ran them off the road.
Somebody ran them off the road.
They crashed their motorcycle right into where that sign is.
Yes.
And to this day, nobody knows.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, we got some information for you at the end of this video. Thank you for taking me out here and showing me this very, very odd scene.
No problem.
So what's this right here?
Back when I was a kid, this was a little store called Lawrence's. Old man ran that, and he had, beer and cigarette, candy, sandwiches, stuff like that. Black folks liked him because he used to carry like pig's feet in there too. And
I've never had pig's feet.
It's an acquired taste.
I gotta try some.
Yeah, just like mostly fat and gristle with hot sauce and stuff.
I heard that the toes are like really delectable. So you told me that like as a kid you can come in here and run a tab.
Yeah, because the high school, grade school, or junior high school used to be up the street, and there was a grade school there too. But yeah, you'd come down here and get sandwiches and pops and stuff, and he'd let you run a tab. You'd actually be on paper. What money?
And what would happen if you didn't pay? Would he break like your little 10-year-old legs or something?
You just wouldn't be able to get anything else in there because you owe him money, so you wouldn't get your stuff. Because if you offered money across the counter, it was money toward your tab. It wasn't money for what you got because you wouldn't get your stuff until you paid your tab.
What was the highest you ever rang a tab up?
$5 or $6, nothing major. You just get back when a bottle of soda would cost you 50 cents or so, but nothing.
Oh, okay, cool. A little bit of Wellsville history with Old Man Lawrence.
Yeah, and eventually he got in trouble because one day one of the grade school kids came to school with like an O'Doul's, and even though it was it was near beer, not real beer, he still got a little bit of shit.
Yeah. Old Man Lawrence. Yeah. Okay. So what's that house right there?
A guy named Eric Dillard used to live there, and he was in, I guess, some money trouble with a guy named Jamie, and supposedly Jamie threatened to kill him and his kid or something. They were having an argument over the money, and when Jamie left, Eric shot him a few times and ended up dying here in this intersection.
Okay, so he shot the guy that lived there.
No, the guy that lived there shot the guy.
Oh, and
they're looking for his money.
Oh, and then he ran to this intersection right here, and
we made it to his car, and the car made it to here, and he ended up dying in this intersection.
And he said he sold bootleg.
Yeah, like bootleg jerseys and bootleg Jordans, and just like the knockoff Gucci purses and stuff like that.
Would he sell it as real or sell it as?
No, he was selling it as knockoff, just a deal on it. But he had a little business going. But rumor has it that he borrowed money from the other guy. And the other guy wanted his money. I guess he didn't have it.
What did end up happening to him?
I think he got like 25 to life in jail. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so that concludes the video. I want to thank my very special guest, Mothman, for showing me around his lovely little town of Wellsville, Ohio. And normally I like to end my videos at the places where I do my videos, but for some unknown reason, I forgot to either do the ending or I accidentally deleted it. Anyways, if you're from a town and you want to show me the dark side of where you live, give me a holler, lamontatlarge@gmail.com, and put in the subject dark side. I'd love to come to your town and visit you, and you can give us a tour of the dark side of where you live. Now, if you'll excuse me, it's McMuffin and coffee time. I will catch up with you guys on the next video. God bless. Peace out.